Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Debbie. In this video I'll be showing you how to design a dress with chest pleats. So this is my pattern. This is my size 16 pattern. My bust is 41. My round waist is 34 or 33 and a half. My waist length is 16.75. okay, so and these are the measurements I used to draft this pattern. So now the very first thing I will do is to locate my under bust line. So my under bust line is very, very important to me right now. Okay, so I'll just locate it and rule a line like this across the pattern. Okay, I have ruled the line. So this is my under bust line, U B U B. Okay, so next for me is to come to the neckline here, and from the neck point I will come out by 1.5 inches. This is 1.5 inches from the neck point. So, and I will be needing my curve ruler. You are going to take this curve and you're going to connect it to the under bust. So, and I would want you to draw the bust arc so as to be able to, you know, be guided when you are drawing your line, okay, to join the under bust. So now my bust radius here is 4 inches. So from here to 4 inches, from here to like 4 inches, from here 4, like that. Okay, so and I think 3.5 can also work as well. 3.5 can work because this is not actually meant for somebody. It's like a ready to wear. So you just assume, based on the experience that I have, I assume that because the bust is about 41 inches or 42 inches, the bust radius could be like 4 inches or 3.5. So you can as well do 3.5 instead of 4 inches, or better still, you add 3.5 plus 4, add it together and divide by 2. Whatever it gives you, that will be, is like, it will be in the middle of it. So you can use that as your bust radius. Okay, so now I'm going to put it this way. Can you see the way I'm doing it? I hope you can see the way I am doing it. So it's touching just one point here that is close to the center front. So I don't want it to be too far. You know, if you're making a corset, here the center front is, you can just measure like 1/2 inch or 1 cm away from center front. Do you understand? So I'm just using that as a guide for me. So from the 1.5 cm on the shoulder line, you connect that way. I don't want it to be too far from here, so what I will do is I'll just curve it a little here. There is no rule to this, okay? I'm just using my discretion. Can you see? You can do yours anyhow you want. So, but this is my own way. Just draw a curve and you connect to the under bust line. Okay, I hope you can see what I have done here. Next is to cut my side dart open. So I'm going to open my side dart from here. so as to be able to temporarily close my waist dart. So I'll just come here and cut open. And before I do that, sorry, I need to extend this my dart to the nipple point. Very important. So that would make the closure of this waist dart easier. Okay, so I'll just extend the middle line towards the bust point. And clean this off a little. So from here, from the nipple point, I will extend it to the waistline. All right, so this is what I have. Now I'm going to continue with this. So now that I've opened my dart, I'm going to close this. Can you see that it has opened so well because of this? Can you see? So this is what I actually wanted. Now I am going to ignore this line. I'm going to ignore this line. This is the underbust. I'm going to ignore it in a way and connect from here to this point with a slight curve. So I'll just put it this way. I'll just move away from this dart leg, like half an inch away from this dart leg before connecting to the end point of the dart. I don't want that area to be too sharp. So this is what I want. I'm trying to create some pleats on this area. Okay, so I need this dart to be opened, at least for now. Okay, so now let's continue. Now I'll come here, I'll pick my tape measure and measure from here down and from here and from here. So I'll just make about 3 markings on this curved line. So I'll just come here and measure about 4 3/4, 4 3/4. Then from this 4 3/4 point, I will come down again, place my tape measure from this very point. I will measure 1 inch. Okay, and from here, from this new point again, I will come down, measure 1.5 inches. Okay, so this is about 4 3/4. You can do 4 1/2. This is about 1 inch, and from here to here is about 1 1/2. All right, so now that I have my point ready, this point here, the last point, I'm going to connect it to the nipple point. Now I need some pleats, and by doing this, I am going to be getting some of the allowances that I need for my pleats, okay, from here. But what about here? Okay, so now I need to just look for a way. I'll come to the armhole and just measure. You can just divide from here, measure the armhole round, then you divide by 3, okay, and the 1/3 of it is what you will use. But I won't do that. I will just use my discretion and just measure something. Okay, maybe I can measure about 3 inches. So like that. So, and from this point, I'm going to connect to this point. So I hope you can see. This is connected to this point. This is connected to this point. And this, I will connect it to the shoulder point. by doing this, I'm going to be having pleat here, pleats here. All right, so this is what I have. It's time for me to cut. So I'm going to just put this aside, but before I do that, I'm going to label it. Your underbust line, very important. I've done that already, but you know, I cut part of this. So then my waistline, ensure that this is center front. Okay, so and the bust line, this is the nipple line, NP. Nipple line. Then this is the chest line, CL. So let's continue. So I'm going to just keep this aside and I'll come back to it later. Okay, so this is what I have for now. So I'm going to cut this open. I'll come to this first line. You know, it's connected to the nipple point. So let me just open this a little to the nipple point. Okay, so I'll open this line. This, I'm going to use it to cover it, meaning that I'm going to close this, the rest of the waist dart, and tape it down. Okay, and here I'm going to do the same thing here, close this as well, and tape it down so that I can have all the dart here transferred to this point. Okay, so this is what I have. So I'm going to slash this and this as well. So now I'm going to spread this by 2 inches. There's no need of spreading this by any amount because all the darts had already been transferred to this point. Now I'm going to measure 2 inches. Can you see? So I've opened it up because of the mistake I made here by cutting through. So I was able to get 1 3/4 inch here. So, and because of the amount I have here, I decided to open this up by 1 3/4 inch as well. So that here and here can have the same allowance or the same measurement. Okay, so this is what I have. I hope you can see. So I'm going to just trim out the part I don't need. Pleats, so you pleat this way, you pleat this way. Then this, I'm going to pleat this way. So next thing for me now is to trim out the excess, the parts that is not needed. So this is what I have, can you see? Now I'm going to work on the other. So all I'm going to do on this is to close this dart, just that, okay? So I'll close it permanently. So I'll just use my tape. So this is all I'm going to do on this. So it's just going to be like this. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. Please, when you're joining, before you cut, know that you're going to cut this unfold. So this is the center front and it has to be unfold. So you're cutting one, which is unfold. You are cutting two of this, one for this side, one for this side. Then the back remains the way it is. When you're cutting on your fabric, you have to open it up this way. Open it up. You open it up and you open it up. So you're going to place it on your fabric this way. You have to double your fabric. You fold your fabric, then you place it this way. So that means when you're cutting, you are cutting two of this. Okay, so now you're going to add your seam allowance here, half an inch, your seam allowance on the shoulder, seam allowance here, all round, seam allowance here as well. Okay, so you're adding seam allowance all round. So once you finish, because you need the seam allowance by the time you are joining to this part, the seam allowance is very important, and you also need seam allowance on this as well. You need seam allowance on this as well. Seam allowance here, then seam allowance here. Waistline, also you're going to add your seam allowance. This side, like I said, it will be on full, so there's no need of adding seam allowance here. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that you need seam allowance to be able to join to this part, and this part to be able to join to this part without any problem. This is basically what I wanted to show you how to do, and I want to believe that with this little explanation of mine, you should be able to do justice to the cutting and the sewing of this particular design. I won't be showing you the sewing. The sewing is very easy. So by the time you spread your pattern this way and you cut on fabric, ensure you mark out the pleats on your fabric. Just put a pin here, insert a pin on the important positions here of the pleats, so that it will guide you by the time you're pleating on the fabric. So you don't need to sew. All you need to do is to pleat. And with the seam allowance that you would have added, you just join to this part and make sure that everything blends. The dart area is joined to this area. This dart line should be your guide. This should be joined. Not that the darts will be on this side by the time you finish your no. So ensure you pin every important points that have to match up, okay? The chest line must match up. Everything has to match up. So by the time you mark it out and you fold, you use your pin, then you can join with this pleated and ironed. So it is the ironing that will make it stay, and the joining to this particular, part. I hope you understand. So it's a very, very easy thing to sew. Very, very easy to sew. So I am not going to show you how to sew. You should be able to do that, all right? But if you have any questions on the sewing aspect or on the pattern drafting aspect, please, you can drop your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. All right? So, bye.